My wife was always glued to her phone. Said it was work stuff. But one night, our neighbor's dog got loose and I went to help. When I came back inside, I heard her on the phone whispering, "He's outside. We've got 10 minutes." I froze. She wasn't talking to a man. She was talking to my boss's wife. The pieces clicked. The late nights, the gym membership, the secretive smiles. I recorded everything. Played it during our next double date. My boss walked out. His wife followed. My wife just sat there. I told her, "You don't even deserve a reaction." For months, I had a strange feeling something was off. My wife, Rachel, had changed. We'd been married 12 years. We met in our late 20s, both working in Dallas. She was smart, confident, and had this energy about her that pulled people in. I was a construction guy, straightforward, hands-on, came from a family of blue-collar workers. We built a life together. A small house in Plano, no kids yet, but we talked about it. We weren't rich, but we were stable. At least, I thought we were. Rachel worked in marketing, branding, and promotion for real estate agents. That's what she told me. I didn't know much about her world. She said it was a lot of meetings and deadlines. She used to complain about clients not knowing what they wanted. Seemed like normal stuff. But then she got glued to her phone. At first, it was just small things. Texting during dinner. Checking her phone the second it buzzed. I'd ask who it was, and she'd say it was just work or the group chat. She'd get up from the couch and go into the bedroom to take calls. Said the living room was too noisy. That kind of thing. I started noticing she was staying out later too. Meetings ran long. Client drinks. Strategy sessions. Always at night. Always vague. I'd ask questions, and she'd shoot me this tight smile like I was being controlling. So I backed off. I trusted her. She also got a gym membership. Nothing wrong with that. But she went at weird times, late evening, right before close. And she kept a bag in her trunk, never brought it inside. I figured maybe she just didn't want to carry it back and forth. Then came that Tuesday night. It was around 9:30. Our neighbor Jason knocked on the door. His dog Duke had gotten out. Big pit mix, strong but friendly. Rachel was upstairs in the bedroom. I told her I'd be back in a few minutes. Went out to help. We chased Duke around the block. Took maybe 10 minutes total. As I came back inside through the side door, I heard her voice. Quiet. Urgent. "He's outside. We've got 10 minutes. I froze in the hallway. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't laughing. She was whispering, like she didn't want to be heard. Then she said, "No." I locked the bedroom door. "You just have to be quick. His truck's still out front, so we're good. I'll make an excuse to be late again Thursday too." My heart stopped. I expected a man's voice to respond, but it was a woman. And not just any woman. It was Stacy, my boss Mark's wife. I stood there, out of sight, completely frozen. Listening. Rachel laughed. That same laugh she used when she used to mess with me while we were dating. Then she said, "God, if he ever found out, we'd both be divorced by morning." I felt like someone had kicked me in the chest. The rest of the conversation was just noise. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They weren't just texting. They weren't just friends. This was full-on sneaking around, coordinating, lying, cheating. And it wasn't just about Rachel. Stacy was in this too. My wife and my boss's wife. The way Rachel acted when I walked in made it worse. She jumped a little, then gave me this fake smile. "Oh, I thought you were still out there." I just said Duke ran off again. She relaxed, went back to pretending nothing had happened. That night, I lay in bed with her next to me and stared at the ceiling. I didn't sleep. My thoughts were racing, not just about what they were doing, but how long it had been going on. Every late night, every meeting, every time we had dinner with Mark and Stacy. How could they look us in the eye? I thought about confronting her, yelling, throwing her phone, but I didn't, because something inside me wanted more than answers. I wanted revenge. The next day at work, I couldn't look at Mark the same way. He was my boss, but more than that, he'd helped me a lot, got me promoted, wrote me a glowing reference when I thought about switching jobs 2 years ago, invited me to his house, loaned me tools, gave me advice. He had no idea. He was married to a woman who was sneaking around behind his back with my wife, and she had the nerve to call herself my friend. I started planning that day. I didn't want to blow up and give her a reason to play the victim. I wanted them caught. I wanted it public, and I wanted it to hurt. So I bought a small recorder from Best Buy, one of those cheap ones that looks like a USB drive. I started planning it around the house. Bedroom, living room, even the car, just in case. Took about 2 weeks before I got something solid. Rachel thought I was on a weekend trip for work. I was actually at my brother's place an hour away. She didn't know I left the recorder hidden behind the TV. When I came back Sunday night, I plugged it in and listened. It was all there. They weren't just meeting up. They were using our home, our bed. The woman Mark married and the woman I thought I knew were having their little sessions while I was out working overtime. I saved the file, transferred it to my laptop, then to my phone. I backed it up on a hard drive too. I wasn't going to lose it. Then I waited for the right moment. Our next double date was 2 weeks later. Mark and Stacy invited us to dinner at their place. Fancy steaks, drinks, backyard fire it. Mark grilled. Stacy mixed cocktails. Rachel played the perfect wife, laughing at all the right jokes, holding my hand. It made me sick. After dinner, we all sat down in the living room. Mark turned on the game. Stacy went to get more wine. Rachel offered to help. That's when I stood up. Hey, real quick, I said. I want to show y'all something. It's kind of personal. They all looked at me, confused. Rachel narrowed her eyes. I pulled out my phone. Hit play on the audio file. The room went dead quiet. Rachel's voice came through first. That whisper. He's outside. We've got 10 minutes. Then Stacy's voice. I watched Mark's face. His smile faded. He stared at the screen like he was watching a car crash. Stacy dropped the wine bottle. It hit the carpet and rolled. Rachel didn't say a word. She just stared at me, like she couldn't believe what I'd done. I looked at her. Calm. Cold. You don't even deserve a reaction, I said. Then I turned and walked out the door. Mark followed. I heard him say something to Stacy, but I didn't catch it. My ears were ringing. I got in my truck and drove home alone. And that's where it all really started. The next morning, I woke up early. I hadn't slept much, but my head was clear. Rachel didn't come home that night. Her car was still at Mark and Stacy's place when I drove by around 6 a.m. I wasn't sure if she was hiding or trying to fix things with Stacy. Maybe both. I didn't care. I went to work like usual. Mark wasn't in. I didn't expect him to be. Our office was small, 6 of us in total. Word travels fast, even without saying a thing. By noon, people were already whispering. Mark didn't answer emails. Didn't call in. Nothing. Around 2 p.m., I got a text from him. Need to talk. Not here. Meet me at the lot off Coit in Spring Creek. 6 p.m. That was it. I showed up at 6 on the dot. Empty parking lot. Just him sitting in his black Ram. I parked next to him, stayed in my truck. We sat there for a few minutes in silence, windows rolled down. Then he said, "How long did you know?" I looked at him. His face looked hollow. Tired. Like he hadn't slept either. "About a month," I said. "I heard them by accident. Then I recorded everything." He nodded slowly, staring straight ahead. I thought Stacy was just bored. You know? That maybe she was acting weird 'cause she hated the suburb life. I never thought it was Rachel. I didn't either, I said. Another long silence. Then Mark turned to me, his jaw tight. They were meeting at our houses. My house. Yours. I didn't answer. She used our bedroom. My bed, he said. His voice cracked a little. I clenched the steering wheel. Mine too. He looked like he wanted to hit something. Instead, he slammed his hand against the dashboard and yelled, "God damn it." We sat there for another 10 minutes. No talking. Just 2 men who lost everything in one night. Then he said, "I want to destroy her." I wasn't sure if he meant Stacy or Rachel. Maybe both. Didn't matter. I felt the same. That night, Rachel came home. I heard her key in the door, slow and careful. She peeked in like she didn't know what to expect. I was sitting at the kitchen table with a beer, not even looking up. I didn't know what to say, she started. I didn't answer. She sat across from me. Her hair was messy. Her eyes red. She looked tired, but not guilty. More like someone who got caught cheating on a test, not someone who ruined a marriage. It wasn't supposed to happen, she said. It just did. I looked at her for the first time. How long? She hesitated. Rachel. How long? She swallowed hard. About 6 months. That hit me like a punch to the chest. Jesus. It wasn't always physical. At first, we were just talking, venting. Then one night, I held up my hand. Don't. I don't want to hear it. She leaned forward. You don't understand. No, I snapped. You don't understand. I let my guard down. I let you convince me I was paranoid. And the whole time, You were screwing my boss's wife in our damn house. She didn't try to deny it. I'm sorry, she said. I laughed. It just came out. Sorry? You lied to me for 6 months. You used me. And now you want to say sorry? I didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't mean to get caught. She looked down. Are we done? I stood up. We've been done. You just didn't know it yet. That week, I filed for divorce. I changed the locks. I blocked her number. I had her stuff boxed up and left it with her sister. I wanted nothing to do with her. No fighting. No arguing. Just out. Clean. But it wasn't clean. Because Stacy was still texting me. And what she said next changed everything. The first text came 2 days after I filed the papers. I know you hate me, but I need to tell you something. It's about Rachel. It's not just what you think. I stared at it for a while before replying. What could you possibly say that would make this worse? She didn't answer right away. The next morning, she sent a longer message. Meet me, please. Not to fix anything. You need to see something. Rachel wasn't just cheating. She's been doing something behind your back that affects your job. That got my attention. We met at a diner just off 75. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't trust anyone. Stacy looked like hell, no makeup, greasy hair pulled back, sunglasses even though it was overcast. She slid a manila envelope across the table. I wasn't going to say anything, but I found this in Rachel's bag after everything blew up. I didn't even know what I was looking at first. Inside were color copies of paperwork, project blueprints, budget breakdowns, meeting schedules with notes in Rachel's handwriting. My company's projects. Where the hell did she get these? I asked. Stacy looked scared. She's been giving your project details to another firm. One of your competitors. A guy named Travis Hill. You ever heard of him? I had. He ran Hillworks, one of the smaller firms trying to edge in on our contracts. They'd bid lower on 3 jobs we lost that quarter. Everyone thought it was just business. Turns out, it was Rachel. She's been feeding them insider info for months, Stacy said. I think she was sleeping with that guy too. I felt my face get hot. So this wasn't just personal. She was sabotaging my work. Stacy nodded. Mark doesn't know. Not yet. I only found this because she left her gym bag in my car. She asked me to drop it off at your house. I looked inside first. I couldn't speak. It was like the air got sucked out of the room. Why are you telling me this? I finally asked. She took a deep breath. Because I was stupid. I messed up. But Rachel's worse. And I think she's trying to cover her tracks. You're in danger if this gets out, like legal danger. You need to protect yourself. That night, I called my brother, who works as a paralegal in Dallas. I showed him everything. He looked through the documents and said, this could screw you bad if your company thinks you leaked this stuff. You need to get ahead of it. So I scheduled a meeting with Mark. It was a Saturday morning. We met at the same lot. He looked rough, like he hadn't eaten or slept in days. I need to show you something, I said, and handed him the copies. He flipped through them. Slowly at first, then faster. His face went white. She used you to get to us, I said. She gave your competitor inside info. That's how Hillworks got those jobs. And I think she might be sleeping with that guy too. He didn't speak for a long time. Just sat there shaking his head. I trusted her with everything, he whispered. And she used it to stab both of us. Then he looked at me with something I hadn't seen in his face before. Pure hatred. But not for me. We're gonna burn them both. Mark and I met 3 more times over the next 2 weeks. We planned everything in private. No phones. No texts. Just face-to-face, in parking lots and truck cabs, talking like 2 guys who'd been gutted and left with nothing but their names. He had a company lawyer looped in. Quietly. Off the books. He didn't want a scene, not at first. But once we laid it all out, recordings, documents, timestamps, the whole chain of betrayals, things started moving fast. Rachel had been using my work laptop when I wasn't home. She'd forward emails to a fake address, print documents, and take photos of budget sheets. She even logged into my work server once from a hotel Wi-Fi. That's how deep it went. She played dumb when I asked her about accidental login emails. Said it must have been a glitch. Hillworks had been winning contracts they shouldn't have even known about. And Rachel, she was right in the middle of it. We were both angry. But anger wasn't enough. We needed to make it stick. Mark called a team meeting at our office. Friday morning, 10 a.m. Everyone was there. Me, the senior staff, our admin, and even a junior guy from legal. Rachel came too. She walked in like nothing was wrong, dressed sharp, hair perfect. smiling. I'll never forget how her face dropped when she saw Stacy walk in behind her. "What is this?" she asked. "Why is she?" Mark stood up and said, "Sit down, Rachel." Then he turned on the projector. It started with the audio, me and Rachel's voices, the same file I played at our double date. Then Mark added another clip, one Rachel didn't know I had. It was a phone call she made to Hillworks, promising to email the updated numbers before the weekend. She turned pale. Then Stacy pulled out the envelope, the same one she gave me, the one with every printed document Rachel had stolen. "This is what she's been doing," Stacy said, loud and clear. "Not just cheating, not just lying. She was stealing from the company." The room was dead silent. Mark looked at her and said, "You didn't just destroy a marriage. You committed fraud, corporate espionage, and you used your husband to do it." Rachel tried to speak. "It's not what it looks like," but I cut her off. "You used me to betray the only people who ever had our backs. And for what? Some little side piece with a fake company and a gym bag full of stolen papers." Her hands were shaking. Mark stepped forward. "You're done here. We're pressing charges. And if Hillworks wants to play games, we'll take them down too." Rachel broke down then, right there in the conference room. She begged, cried, said it was a mistake, that she didn't think it would get this far. But it had gotten this far. And she didn't stop. Not until we shoved the truth in her face. Security walked her out. Stacy watched it all, arms crossed, quiet. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. Just stood there while Rachel was escorted out like a thief. Later that day, Mark called a contact at the local business journal. An article ran that weekend, "Rising competitor implicated in espionage scheme." Hillworks went under 2 months later. Rachel was charged. Nothing big, probation, a fine, but her name was toast. No company in the city would touch her. She moved back in with her parents in Amarillo. Stacy filed for divorce and took the lake house. Mark kept his job and his company. And me? I didn't walk away clean. I lost my marriage. I lost trust. I missed signs I should have seen. I let things go for too long, and I lived with the guilt of being too passive until it was too late. But I kept my job. I kept my name. And I got something better than peace. I got justice.